Alright, it's time for a new lab. Let's introduce lab 5. So, if you go to the write-up, you'll see that this one is about string processing, so relevant stuff, as well as recursion. So just practice the stuff that we've been learning. Here are the files that you'll see when you get them, and yeah, here's your job. So in pow.s, you're going to implement a main function and a pal function that computes one number to the power of another. Alright, so your job is to take two numbers and return the first one to the power of the second one, okay? And you have to do it using recursion, alright? So your job is to like find that smaller subproblem. Can you like write out what 2 to the 5th power is and see if you can break it down and find a smaller power computation inside of 2 to the 5th power? And then think about like what is the base case? Like what's the smallest power computation I can do that I immediately know the answer for? And that can be your base case. And then the other thing is your recursive case. How do you break it down? All right, so that's pow.s. Boop. Yeah, so here's a main function, here's a pal function. Here's the start is the main function. I've got a number from the user with scanf, I've got 2 numbers from the user with scanf, and then I am sending that to pal. All right, so this is its signature, and it's your job to implement it recursively. Okay, so yeah. Think about how you'll do that, and good luck. So think about the base case and the recursive case there. That's pow.s, and I gave you the makefile to compile all this. You can just say makepal. Boop. So makepal will do that for you. And the next one, the other part of this lab is counting the words. All right, counting the words in the standard input. So you're going to go back to this state machine that we talked about in class, and you're going to implement it. All right, so that's in wc.s. It stands for word count. You're going to count the words in the standard input. So you're going to go looking for that EOF, just like we were doing in class. Okay, and it's going to be a lot of get char. All right, a lot of get chars until you see EOF. You can copy a lot of my code, and your job is to implement this word counting state machine that we talked a little bit about here. So have a register for what state you're in, have a register for like how many words you've seen, all those fun things. You'll have to put them in saved registers, most likely. So yeah, your job is to just keep calling get char and keep checking to see if it was the end of file or not. And if it wasn't the end of file, keep calling is space, right? Because that's going to be how you transition. It's either a space character keeps you somewhere or moves you somewhere, and same with a non-space character. So is space is what you need to use because you might see a tab or a new line and you want to count those as spaces. You can't just like compare against the space character. Okay, so you got to use is space. Remember that, let's see. Yeah, we're using it for more than just spaces, new lines and tabs. And is space returns 0 when it means there wasn't a space, 0 for false, but it doesn't return 1 for true. All right, so compare against 0, do it that way, or things will go wrong. And then EOF, remember, is -1. That's 32-bit -1. So don't compare, like, don't think that it's like 1 byte of -1. It's just like FF or something. It is a W register's worth of -1-ness. All right, just like we did in class. You can copy all my code. All right, so get that working. Check for end of file and spit out how many characters you have seen. All right, so that's going to be the goal. Let's see, anything else I want to say? Yeah, so end of file just is -1. So go looking for -1, and I've given you some files that you can test on. So here's a file with some sentences, some words, and some new lines and stuff. And then here's the complete works of William Shakespeare, okay, including his sonnets, all the way to his last plays. So send that through your program with that less than sign, right? Feed your file into the program just like this. Yeah, just like that is how you can test. And one way to test your code and see if you did it right, there is a wc terminal command. So you can say wc-w to count the words of some file name, and it will spit out exactly how many words there are, and you want to make sure you output the same number. Okay, so that's what you're trying to generate here on your own by implementing the state machine. Okay, so yeah, it's a lot of get char in his space though, and yeah, you'll be implementing exactly the state machine like we talked about it. All right, make sure to use your saved registers because you're going to call all those functions and they'll clobber all the scratch registers. So yeah, that's the other part of your lab. And yeah, you got the makefile to compile it again, make wc, and you can feed in your files. Apparently this is how many words are in Shakespeare, the works of Shakespeare. All right, exactly that many. If you want to type in your own stuff, remember that you can start typing and send Control D to type the EOF character for you. All right. So yeah, that's I think everything, and here's how you turn in. Give those 2 files that you messed with, and that I think is all that I wanted to tell you. So that is Lab 5, some practice with stuff that we've been talking about recently. So yeah, good luck. Yell at me if you have questions, and I will see you next time.